I'm Crickets, and welcome back to I Have a Story. I thought I was done talking about the finances for my first divorce because what I already talked about wasn't already enough, right? Between the $15,000 give or take that was in the bank account that she took, the more than double the child support that I was paying, that was more than double what I was supposed to be paying. That wasn't enough. Talked about the boats because that just adds more to then, things that don't get talked about, like this house right here. And this was a very big, and again, so much has happened in my life, I forget until I go dig in some more in my own brain and pull out the memories. So, when I bought this house, first, I'll start. I also had a '77 Firebird that I lost in the divorce because my first car was a '78 Trans Am. I talked about how my dad stole that from me. And then later in life, I wanted a car reminiscent of that, so I bought a '77 Trans Am. And it wasn't the same. It wasn't the Smokey the Bandit car. It was blue on white, and it had the dual snorkel hood on it. Instead of the shaker hood, it had a 350 instead of the 400. But the interior was still all the same, and it was reminiscent, and it was a solid, clean, rust-free car, and it was cool. So I took it. So I actually had to sell that and give her half the money. When we bought this house, she didn't work, I did. I was the head of the mortgage of this house, obviously. I was the only one with a job. I bought this house and rebuilt the whole entire house. That siding you see on it, I did that. The windows that are in that house, I put them there. The electricity that's in this house, underneath my cousin's license, again, you can go back and pull this, is all documented information. I did the whole entire electrical in this house, in part because when I started tearing out crumbling walls, I found they used newspaper. The walls were completely stuffed with newspaper, with old shoddy electrical wiring. That place was a tinderbox waiting to go up. So I had to strip the walls, put all new insulation in. Wasn't living in a shoebox of newspaper. So I put new walls in, new floors, new hot water tank, new well pump, all new plumbing, all new holding tank, jacuzzi bathtub, granite countertops. I decked this house out, especially in my early 20s, my first house starting out. I did all of that. That electrical line you see running out to the garage, guess who put it there? I did. See the gable vent in the top of the gable of the roof? I put that in there. The only thing I hadn't done to this house was the roof, from my eyes and telling and then looking at this, it doesn't look like they still, even as of when this picture of Google and a year ago, or this year, I can't read what that says. The roof on it still hasn't been done since I had that house, and I lost that house back in 2009-ish. So the porch on that house I built, and the porches that were originally on this house were freaking solid concrete. I went and rented a normal jackhammer to try to take them out, and it wouldn't touch these things. I had to go back and rent the full-size, city-size air compressor with the trailer that is nothing but an air compressor just to have enough power to run this jackhammer to take out those. And I loaded it all, hauled it all out of there, and did it all by myself. This whole house, I did 90+% of it all by myself. So when I learned how to do plumbing, I learned how to do electrical, I learned how to do siding, I learned how to do windows, I learned how to do it all. And guess what? I didn't even have YouTube back then to show me how. Kind of shows you more about who I am. Not only was there that porch, there was this porch over here on the other side of the house. That's where the leads into the front door. Look at the size of that porch. You can't even see the full depth of it. I tore out that whole thing. Used to be concrete. Again, that was a lot of work. I did it all. But when I went through a divorce, she wanted the house. And I felt good knowing that I have a 2-year-old son and a mom who is going to be in a house that's all completely brand new. I don't have to worry about their heat going out. Oh yeah, I put a brand new furnace in this house too. That was something else I did. The whole house was completely brand new. I didn't have to worry about the heat going out or the water going out or any of that. In part, I didn't want to be over there fixing it when then things did like that happen, or her to get a landlord that didn't take care of things. And yes, I was still fixing her cars after we're divorced. After, through all of this, tells you the kind of person I am. I'm such a horrible, mean monster. After all she did to me, I was still going over there fixing her cars for her so that my son was safe to transport, because I'm a horrible person. So what happened with this house? When we got divorced, it was court ordered that she had an X amount of time. It was so many years she was allowed to live there for. And then the house was to go up for sale, and we were to split the profit. I owed at the time, I want to say $55,000 or $58,000 on this house. Even though I'm paying more than double my child support, they charged me so much that I worked 40 to 50 hours a week and still did not make my full child support payment and started going into arrearages right off the bat. And then she just starts snapping her fingers and they start throwing more debt into my arrearages. Even though I pay for everything: school clothes, school costs, school supplies, transportation, health, insurance, all of it. All I am is a beaten down rag of a paycheck. That's all I am in court, which is bite your tongue, bite your tongue, bite your tongue. So what ended up happening? Even though she had a full-time job, a boyfriend who was older, already had his house and made money and was well off, while I'm still trying to rebuild, now thrown out on the street, having to start all over again, having to somehow, out of debt, buried all of that finances, I had to find another place to live and try to put a roof over my own head and rebuild. Got furniture and refurnish everything. And I got to do all of that for myself, right? When she just gets it all handed to her on a platter, plus so much more. Well, she decided just to quit making the house payment. I didn't know about it. And they foreclosed on the house. After I got into the foreclosure world, not knowing this stuff back then, I wish I would have. I found out, cash for keys. You can get paid to leave a house and don't damage it. And if you don't, we'll pay you thousands of dollars to leave a house. I really question now, did she get paid for it? I tried finding out back then, but guess what? When you're a man and a woman goes around falsely slandering you to everybody, schools, mortgage companies, society, family, they just automatically get their side taken and you get damned through it all. Welcome to it. I've been through it my whole adult life. So then, I tried working with the mortgage company. Like, wait, I'm the head of the mortgage. And they wouldn't talk to me. They already passed it on to somebody else. And I didn't know this stuff was even going on. They had already passed it on to another debt collector who passed it on. And then it goes through a chain. And I'm trying to follow through the chain. Well, now it's already in the foreclosed status. I can't get my house back unless I come up with like thousands of dollars I don't have. So then what happens? Then they sell it on a auction block. They sold it for less than what the mortgage was. Since I was the mortgage, they came after me for the difference. And then on top of having 51% of my check going to her in child support, now I'm also getting my checks garnished for this house. Now I'm supposed to live off of what? I make $15 an hour. I have $720 a month coming out in child support. I have to cover insurance, medical costs. And now I'm getting my checks garnished for this house that she foreclosed on? Wait a second. How the hell am I supposed to survive? Well, guess what? I ended up on the street. Homeless. Lost my truck. I lost everything. And she smeared me. I had this on video over. Anytime I saw my kid, her putting me down. Look, Alex, your dad can't afford nothing. He can't do this. He can't do that right. He's nothing but a worthless piece of shit. Over and over for years to my kid. While she's doing all this to me, and I got to just bite my tongue and not tell my son the truth? Well, son, here's the truth, boy. You're old enough now. You're an adult, if you're even still alive and out there. Here's the truth. Then on top of that, since all of this, the courts just buried me right from the get-go up to my fucking nose. I never, ever, ever even got tax rights to my son. She got every single one. Not once since, not COVID money, not none of it. Not ever got to file him in my taxes. She also, and none of that comes off of my child support debt. She just gets to keep prospering and prospering and prospering and prospering. Thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of dollars above and beyond what I legally would have had to owe if the court system followed the law and did not do this to me. Seeing more where I'm coming from and why even this house was so much. And the court just supports it all and just kicks me right in the ass and puts the foot right up my keister. And I'm supposed to... Well, I did brush my hair before I came out here again today. You see where it went. All I am is a slave. That's all I am. This country has treated me nothing but sexism, racism. You can't have the job you want. You're a white man. Nope. You can't be a father. Nope. You're nothing more than a paycheck. We're going to bury you over your head and just keep doing it through your whole life. How do you deal with that? I can't anymore. I won't. I miss my kids. I love my kids. I don't give a damn about any of the rest of it. Just like when my house was burnt down. My counselor said, Jason, I don't know how you handle it so well. Freaking house. I've lost way worse than a house. I've been homeless on the street as a teenager with nothing and had to build myself back up. I got way more now than I even did then, especially in the knowledge area. So losing my house was nothing. I care less. I know what's most important in this world. I've had enough of it being taken from me.